cancer. It's a word that it's heavy. It can be really scary. But what if we could peel back some of that fear by just understanding it better? That's what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to break down the science of this super complex disease and, maybe more importantly, talk about how we can fight back. There's this line from the movie Queen that it hits the nail on the head. The character is just bewildered, and she asks, Gupta uncle got cancer. He never drank alcohol, never smoked, but still got cancer. How is this possible? And that question, man, that's a question so many of us have asked ourselves, right? And that right there, that's the heart of the confusion, isn't it? If doing everything right isn't a 100% guarantee, then what's really going on inside our bodies? Well, that's the big question we're going to tackle. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to start with what I'm calling the cancer paradox. Then we'll dive deep into our body's amazing cellular engine. After that, we'll look at what happens when good cells, well, go bad. We'll talk about fighting back with treatments and hope, and we'll wrap up with what you can actually do to help prevent cancer. Okay, let's jump in. Section 1, the cancer paradox. This is all about why the rules of cancer sometimes feel like they just don't make any sense. First things first, let's get something straight. The links between certain lifestyles and cancer are absolutely undeniable. We know for a fact that smoking can increase the risk for 16 different types of cancer, and drinking alcohol, that's linked to at least 7 types. These aren't guesses, these are major, proven risk factors. But, and this is a huge but, there are over 200 different types of cancer out there. So yeah, choices like smoking and drinking are a massive piece of the puzzle, but they are nowhere near the whole story. Not even close. So, to get the rest of the story, we need to zoom in, way in, like microscopically small. Welcome to Section 2, our body's cellular engine. Because honestly, to get a handle on cancer, you first have to appreciate the absolutely incredible machine that is, well, you. Okay, get ready for a number that's just mind-bending. 36 trillion. That's 36 with 12 zeros after it. That's roughly how many cells are in your body right now, all working together. It's not just a body. It's a bustling universe of activity happening inside you this very second. In that universe, it's anything but static. Every single day, your body replaces around 330 billion cells. Think about that. It's this non-stop cycle of renewal, this incredible dance of old cells dying and new cells being born that literally keeps you going. So who's the foreman on this massive construction site? Well, meet the stem cell. These guys are the body's master cells, the ultimate jack of all trades. You can think of them as the raw material, the building blocks that can become whatever the body needs to repair and rebuild. So, our bodies are these perfectly tuned, complex engines. But what happens when one tiny part of that engine just breaks? That brings us to Section 3. When good cells go bad. This is the biology of a cellular rebellion. So where does the rebellion start? It all begins with something called a gene mutation. See, every single one of your cells has DNA, which is basically its instruction manual. A mutation is like a typo, a mistake in that manual. And that little typo can mess everything up, causing the cell to just ignore its orders and go rogue. But here's the cool part. Our bodies are prepared for this. We have this amazing built-in security system. Think of it in 3 parts. First, you've got the security guard, genes that spot a damaged cell and tell it, whoa, hold on, you're not going anywhere. Then you've got the mechanic genes that swoop in and try to repair the DNA damage. And if the cell is just too far gone, the filter steps in and tells the cell to self-destruct. It's this beautiful, orderly process. Pretty incredible. So here's the bottom line. Cancer is what happens when that whole security system fails. A mutated cell manages to sneak past the guards, ignore the mechanics, and just starts growing and dividing like crazy, completely out of control. So if a cell goes rogue, what do we do? How do we fight this cellular rebellion? That leads us to Section 4, fighting back, and a story of treatment and, most importantly, hope. We're going to look at the science of recovery through the incredible journey of a boy named Chirag. Okay, so you've probably heard of chemotherapy. It's one of the main weapons in the arsenal. But it's kind of like a bomb, not a sniper rifle. It uses really powerful chemicals to kill any cells that are dividing quickly, which is great for cancer cells. The problem, it also takes out other healthy, fast-dividing cells, like the ones that make your hair grow or line your stomach, and that collateral damage is why we see those tough side effects. Chirag's story, though, shows us the power of a more targeted approach. He had a blood disorder, and his only hope was a stem cell transplant. This meant finding a perfect donor match, literally a 1 in a million shot. The idea was to replace his body's faulty blood-making factory with a brand new, healthy one from a donor. And just unbelievably, they found a match, a man named Roman. The transplant worked, and it gave Chirag a second chance at life. And the connection that formed between them is just wow. After he got better, Chirag wrote a letter to Roman, the man who saved him. He called him his brother, his hero. I mean, just think about that. Your life saved because a complete stranger decided to do something amazing. Chirag's story is a beautiful example of what modern medicine can do. But now let's talk about the power that we have. Let's get into our final section, how to prevent cancer. What can you and I actually do to lower our risk? And this right here is where things get really hopeful. Check this out. A whopping 42% of cancer cases are considered preventable. Let that sink in. Nearly half of all cancers are tied to choices we make every day. And you can see the breakdown here. Smoking is the big one, of course, but things like excess body weight, alcohol, even too much sun, they all add up in a big way. So what does this mean for you? Well, the science is pretty clear on 5 key things we can do. Number 1, avoid tobacco and go easy on the alcohol. 2, try to maintain a healthy weight. 3, protect your skin from the sun, wear that sunscreen. 4, eat a healthy diet and get moving. And number 5 is a big one. Get your recommended vaccinations. Things like the HPV and Hep B vaccines can actually prevent cancers they're linked to. Now, we have to be real here. There are some things you just can't control. Somewhere between 5 and 10% of cancers are linked to genes you inherit. And honestly, just getting older is a risk factor. About 90% of cancers happen in people over 50. It makes sense, right? There's just been more time for those little genetic typos to happen. But even with the things we can't control for ourselves, we can still be a hero for someone else. Remember Roman? His selfless act saved Chirag's life. And you could have that same power. By signing up to be a potential stem cell donor, you could literally be that 1 in a million chance for someone. It's so easy to look up the registry in your country and see if it's right for you. So let's bring it all home. We've learned that you have real power here. You can potentially influence that 42% of preventable cases. So I'll leave you with this one question. Knowing what you know now, what is one small change you're going to make starting today for a healthier you?